You're listening to The Moose and the Loose, your 10 minutes action-packed financial podcast with your host, Mikey Hu. Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from The Moose on the Loose. Welcome to Business Friday. And today I'm coming back on an interview I recorded this week for Niche Pursuits. It's a podcast about obviously building niche websites, and I was super happy. I met Jared, the co-host of that podcast, while I was in Boise for the conference at Craft and Commerce hosted by ConvertKit. Anyway, so great connection, super dude, and we spent an hour. And for a rare occasion, I was not interviewed about my investing strategy, but rather about how I've built Dividend Stocks Rock, which was so much fun. I think we could have done a 3-hour podcast on that. But anyways, that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna let you guys when it's coming up. It's going to be in November, October or November. But anyways, had a lot of fun, and I thought the last question was, what are the 3 main takeaways that I can talk about from my experience over the past 10 plus years of running a business, first on the side and then eventually make the big jump in 2017. So it's been 7 full year now. So I started, I remember when I came back from my trip, we lived in our RV for a few weeks, and then we were able to come back into our house on July 1st because I rented my house for a full year. So July 1st, I came into my house, and on July 3rd, between July 1st and July 3rd, I had ordered a new desk. I painted my office, and I was ready to start working full-time on Dividend Stocks Rock. It was quite an adventure. And there are 3 things between that moment and today, which is now 7 years in the making, doing this full-time. And I can tell you, I would never go back to work for somebody else. The first thing I think that I want to talk about is the fact that it's having a business is a game, and it's a game with some interesting rules because there are rules that you are making. So that's what's the most amazing part about that game is you get to decide a lot of the rules that you want to play. So you decide the game you want to play, you decide the rules, and then it's up to you to make it work. But that is the first thing is the business is a game, and there are always uncertainties. So if you're thinking about going into solopreneur, entrepreneur, build a business, it's all the same. And one thing that all of those things are in common is you will run into a lot of uncertainties. So if you're not willing to take that, well, entrepreneurship is just not for you. And that's fine, totally fine actually, but it's just a different type of game. It's like having the choice between playing Monopoly or playing Risk. Some people will like to play both. Some people will be diehard fan of Risk. I'm one of those. And some people will hate Monopoly, but I kind of like Monopoly, but I prefer Risk. Anyways, that's another topic for another day. Long story short, be ready to live with uncertainties, and that's part of that game. That's part of one of the rules that you cannot change. Another thing that is super important is to start now. You hear me telling you always that you should stay invested, start investing today, because yesterday was the best time to invest. Today is the second best time. And of course, tomorrow is the worst time out of the 3. Well, for a business, it's the same thing. If you have an idea, start. Don't wait until you have a perfect business plan. Don't wait until you have a whole team set up. Don't wait until you get $100,000 as a safety net in your bank account so you can jump. You have to start right away. Why? Because this is how you break things and learn fast. When I started, I remember that, and it's it was the very first day. I started working full time on DSR in July. So July, August, I was just scraping to make some money, but I knew that it was not enough. So at one point, I'm like, okay, so now I need to have like a big campaign to kind of like do a relaunch of Dividend Stocks Rock in September, and that was like kind of like a pass or fail test for me. So it was super important. And in order to run that campaign, I also decided to have a webinar. First time ever, I come on a screen live, talking to people for an hour. I was nervous. I never had those. I never had done those kind of like presentation for a long time, and I had like bad lighting. I had a laptop with, of course, not the greatest mic ever. So camera was more than okay. The mic with the sound was more than was about okay as well. But then I just did it. I was like, if I had to give me a note today, I would probably be, I don't know, like a 6 out of 10, a 6.5 out of 10. But here's the thing. My partner told me something that struck my mind on that day. He said, Mike, you're better than 97% of everybody at doing webinars. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, that's because 97% of people never done a webinar. So you're automatically better than them. So coming back to my point of starting now, if you have a project, if you have an idea, if you start to get into motion and you start doing something, you will become better than 97% of people that are just sitting on the sideline, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for a situation, waiting for an occasion, waiting for the environment. But as you wait, same thing as investing, right? Waiting is losing. So if you wait, if you're on the sideline and you're just thinking, oh, it's going to be better next year, it's going to be better next month, well, I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to be better. It's going to be different, but it's never going to be that better unless you start now. So starting now is definitely a key. And finally, I've noticed that there's like often this topic when I do like trainings or I listen to business podcasts and stuff where a lot of people hate to sound salesy. They hate to sound like pushy, and they're trying to sell something to people. And literally they have that feeling that they are demanding money. They're asking for something and they don't feel right about that. And I totally get it. I mean, I would not feel comfortable walking around on the street and asking people money. But here's the thing. You have to make that change in your mind where whatever you do, you have to do it to help people. Like to reach whatever goal. Like on my side, I help people invest with conviction. That's not just a marketing tagline. This is exactly what I do. And when I started to think how I can define DSR and how I can define DSR as opposed to all the other competitors I have, because the financial space, oh my God, there are like so many competitors, so many services, and a lot of them are pretty good. So what's my key advantage? I mean, yes, I have like a great platform. I have an amazing stock screener. I do stock comparison. We do have like great stock analysis, but all of this pretty similar to a lot of other places, right? But one thing I had my whole life and I still have today is my conviction, my level of confidence in achieving anything that I want. And then I thought, well, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that they're afraid. They feel confused. The market keeps on spinning strange stories, right? It's like hard to keep up. And then the market goes in two directions. At one point, you're in doubt. You have dilemmas. You're not too sure what to do. Well, here I come to save the day. I am full of conviction and I am willing to help people by sharing my tricks, sharing my views, and sharing my passion above all else about investing. So when I run an email campaign, when I do a webinar, when I post on social media, or even when you're listening to this podcast and I'm telling you, you should definitely look at Dividend Stocks Rock. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm not asking you money. I'm trying to help you out. If you have this type of problem, I am a very good solution for it. So maybe I'm not the one for you, and that's fine. So you can try it out. And after that, just like, yeah, finally, that's not for me. And that's totally cool. But I would be making a disservice to anybody by hiding and not talking about DSR. If I talk about DSR all the time and I tell you that I'm super proud about what I do, it's because I help people. So I feel confident and I feel comfortable telling you, go take a look at the website. And if it makes sense to you in regards to your strategy and you need support, well, there you go. We are here to help you out. And when you do it this way, I never feel that I'm asking money for someone. I'm just here to say, hey, you know what? I'm here to help you out. And if you want my help, I'll be super happy and honored actually to offer it. And that's the whole point. So the 3 takeaways before I let you go for the weekend. The first one, uncertainties are part of the game. So the business is a game. It has rules. You make most of them, but one that is for sure, uncertainties. Second thing, waiting is a losing game. So start now and build your plane as you go. That's totally fine and that works. And 3, do whatever you do, sell whatever you sell to help people achieve something. If you are not convinced that you can genuinely help people with what you're doing, well, go back to the drawing board because you're not doing the right stuff. So you don't have to sell. You don't have to ask. You're here to help people in a genuine fashion. All right, Moose, that's enough for today. I hope that you will have an amazing weekend, and we're going to talk again on Monday. And until then, don't forget to stay invested. Hey, welcome to the disclaimer. If you're listening to The Moose and the Loose, you cannot really expect me to give you buy or sell recommendation or financial advice, right? You're here for fun, you're here for information and some entertainment. But I am not your financial advisor, I am not your broker, so therefore I'm not liable if you're losing money after listening to the podcast. If you're looking for some advice, go see a professional. If not, you can enjoy the show and do your due diligence after it.